Hello everyone, welcome to Clean Copper Talks. Recently you must have heard about emerging contaminants. A lot of studies, a lot of news are there in society over the internet about emerging contaminants. This is an introductory video about emerging contaminants. What are different types of emerging contaminants? What are the categories of emerging contaminants? And the harmful effects which emerging contaminant may have will be discussed in this video. Further, individual videos on each type of emerging contaminant will also be created at later stages, but this one is an introductory video. So stay till last. So emerging contaminants, as the name suggests, are emerging, are upcoming, are not conventional or not has been detected historically into water, wastewater systems, water, wastewater samples, or the environmental samples. Emerging contaminants are chemical substances which is detected nowadays frequently in environment. Moreover, there are no strict regulations or standards for emerging contaminants as of now. If we talk about water or wastewater system, there are strict regulations for discharge norms or drinking water norms. Now, how much should be a particular parameter or a contaminant should be, let's say nitrate, phosphate, sulfate, or chemical oxygen demand, biochemical oxygen demand. Because these are conventional parameters historically, we know this, these are very well documented, but the emerging contaminants are not that uh, frequently known in history, and that's why there are no strict regulations related to them, and the studies on their risk assessment is going on, and hence they are called as emerging contaminants because we don't have much information about them as of now. We don't know their potential health hazard which they may possess, which we don't know how much their limit should be in water or drinking water or wastewater. So because these are very new, these are not known historically, and that's why they are called as emerging contaminants. These are basically chemical substances. So the sources of emerging contaminants can be many, such as effluents from pharmaceutical industries, hospitals, or other industrial wastewater, even the uh, domestic wastewater, the municipal wastewater may contain emerging contaminants of different types. Household use such as shampoos, soaps, and personal care products contain a lot of emerging contaminants. Then, in agriculture, with time we are dependent more upon the pesticides and herbicides to increase the production capacity. These also contribute to the emerging contaminants. Then plastics and packaging industries can also be the source. Industrial discharges and landfill leachate can also be another source. These are some of the sources. There can be many sources for emerging contaminants. All those places, all those resources which use some or other type of chemicals may contribute to emerging contaminant. Now, if we see what are the different type of emerging contaminants, then the first and very hot, very critical at this point is the personal pharmaceutical and personal care products. In pharmaceuticals, there can be antibiotics, there can be painkillers, antidepressants, or hormonal hormones. Uh, these are frequently detected in water and wastewater or environmental samples throughout the world. This is not limited to just one country but throughout the world. Then there are industrial and household chemicals such as PFAS. PFAS, also known as forever chemicals, because they don't degrade easily. Bisphenol A, phthalates, or flame retardants. Then pesticides and herbicides, which are frequently used, widely used throughout the world for agricultural production, increasing agricultural production. Then illicit drugs and metabolites can be are another category of emerging contaminants. Micro and nanoplastics, all the products which we are using plastics are contributing to micro and nanoplastics. There are reports wherein microplastics are detected in poultry, in milk products. Then there can be other emerging contaminants also, such as caffeine, artificial sweeteners, and disinfection byproducts. So all those chemical substances which are widely used today, which were not historically there, but now today we are using them widely, and because of their wide usage, they are ultimately contributing as a emerging contaminant. And since we don't know much about their health hazard they may possess, their we don't know about their half-life, we don't know how they will behave while interacting with different other substances in environment. Therefore these are all different emerging contaminants, but those listed here are the major categories of emerging contaminants on which the studies throughout the world today is going on. Then the concern behind emerging contaminants, as I told you, are they don't degrade easily. They are persistent. They do get accumulated in the food chain. Many of them are toxic to human beings or aquatic animals. They can interfere with fish reproduction process. Then they may lead to generation of antibiotic resistance. They can transfer the antibiotic resistant genes from one organism to another, because of which the usage of antibiotics will not have same effect what it used to have earlier. Then there can be hormonal imbalance, there can be risk due to for cancer, there can be neurological effect, and many more. So because of all these reasons, emerging contaminants are of huge concern today. Then the challenges is their detection and monitoring. First of all, monitoring of these chemicals are not easy. Each chemical behaves differently, therefore monitoring and detecting them is very expensive, and they require sophisticated instruments such as liquid chromatography mass spectrometry, or gas chromatography mass spectrometry, or ICP, or many other instruments which are highly sophisticated. They are used to detect them at very minute level. Another concern which I could not discuss in the previous slide was even the presence of them in very small quantities, such as microgram per liter and nanogram per liter, are also very harmful to human beings, and that's why the studies are going on them. And that is why they are in such a small quantity, still they pose such a great threat. Therefore we need highly sophisticated instruments to properly detect them. If we see globally, US, European Union, and Japan are still working on monitoring these pollutants. If we talk about India, there is growing awareness about emerging contaminants, and CPCV are and researchers are doing different studies on the effect of emerging contaminants. If we talk about the case study, there are studies going on detection and monitoring of antibiotics and microplastics in Yamuna, Ganga, and some lakes over India. So, how should we think about them as a forward? We need better monitoring and regulation programs, but as I told you, since their detection itself is very expensive, a lot of funding from the government and even the private partners needs to be put in the R&D sector. When R&D sector will get a lot of funding, there will be more research on proper monitoring and detection of such uh, pollutants. We need advanced technologies such as ozonation, activated carbon, photocatalysis, membrane bioreactors, so that we can effectively remove these contaminants, or we can degrade them. Better that technology should be able to degrade them rather than removing them, because if you remove them, their just phase will get changed from one phase to another. But if you are having such a technology which is able to degrade them, that will be much better. We need to increase the public awareness about such contaminants, such as that medicine should not be discharged directly into the sewer. There is a typing mistake. such as medicine, should not be discharged in sewers directly. Then a lot of research and policy integration needs to be developed so that we can have effective detection and removal of such emerging contaminants. So this is all I wanted to talk about emerging contaminants. Further, I will be bringing individual and in-depth video about each of the emerging contaminants. Thank you. So if you like this video, please subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. I will see you in next video. Till then, tata, bye bye, take care.